All right, so we're going to play with loading data. There's so many different ways to interact with data. I just wanted to show you some. So first of all, just so you know, you can save data. So like, let's say you've got some data that you like I'm just going to do a regular script, and I'm going to say x equals 5, y equals 12, and z equals, whatever, gummy face. All right, and I'm going to run this, and I've got this over here. I can save this, and it saves by default as Matlab, but you can change it to, I already have something saved as my favorite variables, my second favorite variables, like that. And then if I go, oh no, I deleted it, what were those my favorite variables that I had again? I can come over here, and whether I'm in a live script or not, I can say load my second favorite variables.mat. Whoops, it's less impressive whenever they're already preloaded. CLC clear. Now I'm gonna load them. And look, they're right there. Isn't that amazing? Aren't you just like super excited? So you can load, you can save and load your own. If you are like making a game or something like that, you want to have like preset variables rather than, having code that does it all. You could have them maybe reset like this. So I have, what does this say? Why are these unicorns staring at me? Yeah, so those are my favorite variables are just right here, and they can be any kind that you want them to be. It would just save the workspace and just add it to, so you see since I loaded both of them, they're both in there. It doesn't delete everything else. It just adds to whatever you have there. So load is specifically for MATLAB workspaces. So sometimes whenever people turn in homework, they accidentally turn in the workspace instead of turning in the .m or .mlx files. We're toward the end of the semester, so you're probably not doing that, but it's a thing that can happen. Okay, now there's three major functions that you can look at: read table, read matrix, and read cell. They're all a little bit different. So, okay, read table, as you might imagine, reads tabular data. So this could be Excel, XLX, CSV, so comma delimited files or like DAT files. But it reads them into a table, and that includes their variable names, so it can be mixed data types. So read tables. So if I have, I think I'm going to use fake data. Yeah. So if I have fake data, I'm going to open this outside of MATLAB. And okay, so here's my fake data. And it's people with name, cats, dogs, GPA. Okay, so whenever I import this information as a table, if I read it as a table, it's going to bring those in as headers, row names, and all this kind of stuff. So let me just do this one over here. I'll see clear, just to start fresh. Okay, so here's the table. So it's a table, I have cats, dogs, GPA, and it's set up just like a table. I've had a whole other video on what tables are like, so you see that as a table. And let me put in a new section just so we're kind of keeping things. Insert section break. What is that again? Control Alt Enter. I knew it was something. Okay. So we have read as a table, and now read as a matrix. This one, actually, I'm going to do read as a cell next, because read as a cell feels like it's doing the same thing as a table, but it's not quite. It's not doing it as a table, it's doing it as a cell, so you'll see the difference here. You're like, that looks like a table to me, except look, it did not honor the headers, and that doesn't seem like it's a big deal, but it is. So this is a data as a cell, so if I want to talk to the elements in here, data as cell 1, comma 3 or something like that is dogs. 1, comma 3 is dogs. Whereas here I would talk to it as data as table dot name. And would I do it like this? I forgot already. No, I do it as 1 first name. Yeah, John Gabelli. Okay, so the cells you access using curly braces, and it ignores headers, and the table, it reads like a table. So they're just all just a little bit different, and they only matter if you're doing something weird. I would like to go to a new place, please. There we go. So the last one I'm going to show you here is just read as a matrix. And this one is for just numbers, pure and simple. So when I look at this, see, it just inputs the numbers. It doesn't input the headers, but anything that is a words, it just brings it in as not a number. So if you're reading it in as a matrix, it's reading it as a not a number, so then you have to go deal with all of those errors. So, you know, there's ways that you can go in and you could say, I only want to read columns, you know, number of header lines. Oh, here's the range. So you could be like, if you knew what the range was, it would probably be B2 to, I don't know, let's just go B to B, C, D, D 51? I don't know. Yeah, so you could just do it like that, I guess, and just pull the data that you want. But if you do it naturally, it's going to pull the whole thing and pull in those. So you got that. Okay, you can also do import data. I'm trying to think about what the difference is between these. I honestly lose track of what all these are. Import data, so if I'm just doing names and grades, what is import? So import is going to bring it in as a structure. So not a table, but a structure. So not a cell array and not a table, but this is really good for like mixed. So this would be the one where I go name and grades only, where I can be like data, and then it gives me apparently that, what is this information? Names and grades. Names and grades. Open outside of Matlab. Let's see what this even is. Okay, so Alice, Bob, Charlie, test 1, test 2. So if I import this as this, I've got data, so this would be test 1 and test 2. And then if I wanted their names, it would be over here. So that's, in my mind, not really helpful. If I pulled over just grades, oops, it won't have any text because there's no text in whenever I made a special one that's just grades. And it doesn't have any, so if you're using import data, it's fine if you just have like a super boring spreadsheet that has no words in it. I guess that's really the point of this, is if you have a super boring spreadsheet with only words and no headers, you can use just a straight up import data. But once you start having stuff that has text and numbers, I would not use import data. I would go use one of these like read matrix, but probably, or not even read matrix, I would use like read cell, but probably read table. I think tables are the way of the future for the moment. You can also do reading dates and times. So let's see, I'll show you what that looks like. So I've got this sample time cards over here that I made, whereby you can see people who checked in, clocked out, clock in, clock out, clock in, clock out. So I can pull that data somehow. Derp, 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 derp. Here, let me, oops, just so I have something fresh. So I can read this as a table. I'm assuming I could also read it as a matrix, but I don't think I'm gonna like that. Yeah, I'm not gonna like that. And see how it's formatting the dates and times? It's formatting them as like, I don't know if you've ever done this in Excel where you would do this and then you like paste it as a value and you add it so it's just a pure value. That's like the number. That's how you represent January 2nd at 10:20 a.m. on a scale of 0 to who knows what. That's what that number is, so I don't really get that. That's this number. So again, pulling in read matrix, read cell, is that any better? Again, except the fact that it messes up the headers, so I'm going to go back to read table. Now it is warning me that it had to modify them, and that's because in my original file I had burps, clock in with a space and clock out with a space, so basically it took the spaces out to make them acceptable. So let's see, what can I do with this? So I have all the clock in and clock out. Let's see if I remember what to do with times. So if I wanted to add a new thing that was like total time that they were at work, I could be like T clock in, no, it'd be clock out minus clock in, T clock in. That do it? And that'll give me a total time. Does that look right? So this first person, was he in about 7 hours? 10 to 6, it's about 7.5 hours. 2 to 3 to 6:20, 3.5. Yeah, okay, that seems about right. Now I was going to be really clever and say, oh look, I can figure out how much they make by just really quick being like T salary equals T total time times, let's say they make $25 an hour, and I got this really great answer over here that means nothing because I don't even know what it's doing, but it's certainly not doing anything that makes sense. I think it's multiplying that 4,000 number by 25 and then converting it back into, I don't know what it's doing. But this is when I have to remember, oh yeah, time is a different data type. So I need to convert it back to hours, and maybe I'll just make an extra column for a second. Or I'll just look at this right here by itself. So if I just look at hours of the total time, there, so 7.74, that's about 7 hours and 45 minutes, so 7 and 3/4 hours, 7 3/4 hours. Okay, that looks good. So I need to convert it to hours. So T salary would be hours times $25 an hour, something like that. Seem reasonable? So that's how much. Ooh, that doesn't make sense if they make, so I could round. Is that a thing? Round it to 2 decimal places. Look at me know how to do stuff. Yay! I don't know if I can really display it to 2 decimal places, but at least it's rounded to 2 decimal places, so I'm not doing a Superman 3 thing. And yeah, so that's pretty cool. So I can mess around and I can play, and you know, you could even do extra stuff of like salary base, salary overtime, and anyway, all kinds of stuff. So it's kind of fun. You can you know, just do some things with input and output of this data, and just, this is where, you know, it's one of those things again where you can't really show every possible thing you can do with it. You just start getting good at it, and kind of like how I played around with the, oh, I'm going to pull this. I just kind of pulled that out of experience. And that's how you get better and better at these things, is just by messing with it and pattern matching and having a good time.